I could pick on you for the first queen not being in the natural, but we've already covered that. There goes your first gas, right on time.
Hey, I didn't get supply blocked here. That's cool.
Yeah, everything went really well through the early phases of this game. Really, really very well. I was quite pleased. Really, this was a perfect early game in my opinion. You're droning quite a bit. His expansion just has gone down. He's with Rax's, creating a very cute little wall. And there's his 2 factories that he made in the first game we played. So this was in fact the exact same build. He's going to start pumping tanks, and very soon he's going to push out for that first little engagement. Now notice all these timings. You've got your first infestors popping out, your +1/+1 is finishing. This is a very typical timing for a Terran push. It's right around 10 minutes. There are faster pushes, but this is kind of a good mid-game time to fight, right?
Sure.
Sure. So, when he starts to push, we will pause.
Right around...
Which is going to be any second now. There it goes. All right, so let's pause at 12:30.
12:30, got it. Almost there.
All right. Tell me
Already?
Yep, paused at 12:30. You're there?
Yep.
Let's back it down to regular, faster speed. And before we hit play, let's just talk about what we're looking at. You're at 12:30, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've just fungled his marine ball. Right?
Yep.
This is going to be a massively one-sided fight. So without focusing too much on the fight, let's look at his base. Right, he is still pumping marines. He is still pumping Hellions actually, because he's seen this this Zergling commitment of ours. But in terms of units that aren't engaged in this fight, he has 4 marines in a bunker, 2 Hellions, and 3 more marines. Not much stuff, right?
Yep.
All right, so let's come back up to the fight. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks and marines. So let's go ahead. You're on faster? Yeah?
Yes.
All right, let's hit play now. The Zerglings clean this up handily, and right here, 12:36. What happens?
I retreated.
Why?
I just didn't realize how much stronger my army was than his. I also have some lings back at my base too. Yeah, you know, I don't ever use the lings like this, and my lings are just like raffle stomping them right now. It's kind of cool. It's
pretty one-sided how incredibly owned he was in this engagement. So you go and you retreat, and you're going to lose 2 infestors in this retreat at least. You have 24 Zerglings back at home. Right now, at this instant in the game, right now, if those 24 lings just A-move his natural, he's going to have a tremendously difficult time not losing the game outright. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. The reason for that is because you just disintegrated every one of his marines with good fungal. That was a beautiful fungal. It was perfect. His entire marine army is gone. He's down to, you know, y'all are even in supply. You have 700 more minerals than he does. You have 4 unspent larvae, which is not a big deal. Your third base just finished. I mean, you're in a tremendous position. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play now. And you retreat.
Sorry, where are you at again? I think I might have gotten out of sync with where you're at.
I'm paused at 12:40.
Okie dokie. And we're going to hit play whenever you're ready.
All right, let's go ahead and hit play now.
Got it.
So you just retreated, and then I yelled at you. And so you kind of run back in and lose some more lings for just a couple of marines. You know, that wasn't a good deal. And so here you come again. You're like, can I really engage it? And I'm like, yeah, you can. And those lings run into siege tanks, and they still kill every single tank. They still kill a couple marines. And so here, for 13 minutes, he only has Hellions and marines. All right, so let's pause. I'm at 13:15.
Okay.
So we lost some infestors. We lost some infestors with energy. That's crucial.
Yeah, 3. I think I went 2 or 3. Something like that.
In retreating in the way that we did, we made our quote siege tank cleanup. We made it much less efficient because we had to. I mean, this is obvious. When you engage a Terran player, Terran has range on all of his units. Zerg does not. So you're taking damage as you approach, and you're also taking damage as you leave. So we had that great fight where you ran in and you took that initial damage, but you still won, and then you went to leave again prematurely and you took more damage. So basically you're giving away fractions of your army for free, and that adds up to be a great deal of stuff. So I would definitely say that had you engaged more aggressively, had you just said, I'm committed to this shit, that you would have killed all that stuff. And instead, he would be turtled up behind a wall trying like hell to not die, versus being on your creep, being a little bit more actively aggressive. So 13-15.
Mm-hmm.
Another very noteworthy thing right now is your vision. Let's put it on the Blighted cam. You have great vision of your half of the map. Virtually everything on your half of the map is visible, right? That's what vision means.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it all. But you cannot see anything important. Importantly. Redundancy is fun. You cannot see any of the important stuff. There is something that you said that is so important when we first started talking about introductions and how you like to play ZvT. And I'm going to just ask you a question. Can you remember the super important thing that you said about the way you approach ZvT?
I like to throw my army at his third base.
Yes. You like to deny that third base at all costs. That was so good. That is such, like, you get it. That's such a high-level understanding of the game right there. Just understanding that you have to, at all costs, prevent that third puts you in a higher level of thinking than most StarCraft players. All right? Let me ask you a question. How the fuck are you going to deny his third base if you cannot see it?
Yeah, I guess what I'm realizing is that, like, mutas just give me a lot of really passive map scouting. Like, I just have that whole bottom area of the map scouted because my mutas are all the time when I have mutas. So I think what I need to do is just get Zerglings down there.
That makes perfect sense. Had we gone muta this game, and had we adequately dealt with his attack, we would have map control with Mutalisks, and we would have lots and lots of vision. We didn't.
So then what? How do you? What would you do to scout in this situation? Like, what would you use to scout the bottom half of the map?
I would send a Zergling to every base. I would start getting Overlords over to every base. I would get Overlord speed. I'd be dropping creep at every base. You know, you have these resources at your disposal, and you have to use them. The other thing that I would be doing is just expanding to every fucking base, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because whether or not you feel it, with these 2 infestors and these 3 lings that you've forgotten about between your natural and his natural, whether or not you feel it, you have map control. Disagree with me right now.
I don't disagree. It's just
okay,
does that make sense?
You don't even disagree. All right, you have 26 lings about to pop out. You're going to have 5 infestors, all of whom will have enough energy. This army of his is inconsequential. This army of his is nothing. This is a piddly army that the Terran is showing us. This is nothing. You have map control. All you have to do is exert that map control. You have the resources to take it. You're just kind of not really challenging him for it, and it's because this is a new style to you and you're unfamiliar with it. But it's right there for you. You just got to reach out and grab it. So when you have map control, this is something I talk about on my stream all the time. When you have map control, what do you not need?
I don't know.
You do not need any more.
What do you not need when you have map control? I don't know the answer to that question.
Any more army when you have map control because you have fucking map control, right? Does that make sense to you?
I
if
see.
you have map control, that means that you have enough stuff in place that he cannot push out and just engage. Push out and just kill.
So like right here, you're saying I have map control, so you would just like expand a lot, build a bunch of drones, that kind of thing?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm hitting on. So this is the time in the game that you take the map control, you show him that this is my map buster, you can't have it, you expand, you drone, and you cement the advantage that you've created for yourself by squashing his army in the way that you did. Which you did. You killed every one of his tanks, and the tank is the backbone of the Terran army. Somebody might say it's the Marine, but it's not. Okay, unless you're Foxer, which Randy is not, and nobody that you're ever going to play against. I won't say ever, but nobody that you're going to play against in the immediate future. You know, you're not going to play against that level of micro. And so the tank is the backbone of his army. Why is the tank the backbone of his army? Because that dictates whether or not you can engage him. You can engage him when he just has Marines. You can engage him when he has Marine Hellion. You can engage him when he has Marine Hellion Thor. You can engage him when he has Marine Hellion Thor Banshee. But when those tanks are there, it changes things. And the only time you can engage him when the tanks are present are when you can deal with the tanks, as you have already demonstrated. So you took that out. His backbone is gone. He has no way of really standing against you. The units you're about to have pop out should give you complete map control. And from that point forward, you can expand everywhere. You can get vision of everything. You can get overlords around the map. You can get lings around the map. You can get hatcheries around the map. You can spread creep around the map. And it becomes your game from that point. Now, that's not exactly how it played out. This is not your fault. This is because this is new to us and we're learning a new style. So let's go ahead and hit play. And I know we're spending a lot of time to harp on little fiddly details. I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to ×2. And we see he's just parked on your creep, and I'm like, man, you can kill this, if you recall. And you're like, you really think so? And I'm like, yeah. So there you fungal the Hellions. You see Speedlings do really well against Hellions when they're fungal. You fungal the Marines just melt instantly. It was ridiculous. And 14 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, I'm going to pause.
Yeah, fungal is just, it's like a very dirty.
It's like Psionic Storm.
14 minutes and 20 seconds.
14:20.
Yeah, fungal is ridiculous. It's crazy.
14:20 and we're paused. All right?
Yeah.
So once again, we're in this position where those units you made have given you map control. And you don't realize it in game right now, but you can definitely see it looking at the replay. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have any presence on the map, period. He's got a very tiny army that you could actually probably kill right now if you just attacked. And he has no presence anywhere. He doesn't have towers. He doesn't have anything at all. He's starting to tech to 3-port Banshees because he's desperate to get back in this game. He's got to pull a tech switch out of his ass to stay in this. So at this point in the game, you need to be everywhere. You need to have vision of everything, but you don't. So let's go ahead and hit play. I'm on ×2. It's ticking past 14:30 right now. And you're just noting an air of passivity in your base. If you look at the units tab, you see you've only made 55 drones. You're still able to easily engage him. And in that little engagement we just saw, we suffered from one of the same mistakes we talked about previously, where you engage, you disengage, and then you engage again, and you take all this extra damage in transit. So now we're starting to let him kind of retake map control. I'm going to pause at 16 minutes and 10 seconds. Alright, so he's starting to retake map control. Why is he able to do this?
So when you're...
Are you there? Hello?
Hey man, actually, can you hold on a minute? I think I'm lagging for some reason, and you're kind of breaking
okay.
up on Skype.
Yeah, just let me know when you're back.
Can you still hear me?
I hear you just fine. I can hear
Hello?
you. I can hear you. I just sent you a message on Skype if you can't hear me.
I can hear you now. That was really... I started lagging for a bit there. I'm going to actually just watch this replay on your stream when we go through the rest of this. Is that cool?
That's fine. Can you hear me?
Hello?
You're definitely lagging badly.
No, not really. Hold on. Let me just... Let me call you back.
Okay. Hey, you there?
Hey, what's up? Sorry, it started lagging. I don't know what happened there.
I think we started walking farther and farther away from each other, and it took longer and longer for our voices to connect.
Got it.
You don't seem to like my jokes very much.
I'm bringing up your stream right now. We can go through the rest of this replay.
Okay, cool. So let me know when you're viewing the stream, but make sure that you mute the stream because you're going to be listening to me. Can you hear me? Seriously? Is it going to go down like this?
Hello?
This is frustrating.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I hear you. Can you hear me? Testing, testing, testing 1, 2. Waiting to see if TK can hear me as I try to communicate with him. Hello. Could it possibly be on my end? Let me check. Is my internet working?